Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
We're going to get open the meeting here in just a second, and then we will get started. I appreciate everybody being able to be on. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Franklin Township special meeting. Today is July 17, 2025. It is approximately 12:07. Sir, would you open us in prayer?
Certainly.
Hold on a second. It's not, it's 9:07.
Let's see, what did I say?
12:07.
Thank you. Let me
I'm just
read.
trying to
No,
correct it for the
I am
record.
glad you said that, sir. The time is 9:07 approximately. Thank you.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just ask you to come and be in the midst of everything that is said and done here today, Lord. Lord, we just ask you to give us trustees and the leadership of this township your mind's eye to have done what you would have done in this township. In Jesus' precious and holy name, we pray. Amen.
Jan, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Leisure,
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
and Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
As we get started here today, we're not going to take any questions from the audience till the end. We have a, I'm going to call it still a Zoom call going on so that we can get the information, all of us at one time, on different aspects of what our levies would look like. Mr. Mazer, I can turn it over to you, or do you want, how do you want to start?
How would you trustees like to proceed?
Okay,
What
well,
questions do you have for
okay.
Mr. Caldwell and his team?
So where we're at so far is we have an opportunity to do 3 different levies. We currently have had time levies on the ballot. And in my opinion, time levies is just that. And at the end of the time, it goes away, we're back to a situation. In my opinion, time levies should never be used as an operation, but in the aspect of having a new piece of equipment, a new building, when it's paid for, it goes away. The second levy would be a permanent levy, which we currently have 3 permanent levies. I believe that's correct. Is that correct, sir? It's 3, and then this would be 4 from over the years. And then the last one would be something called a township-wide levy, where the incorporated would also pay that properties that have been annexed into the township. And my biggest question is this, to make it very simple. If we go with the time levy, we end up where we are again in 5 years if it doesn't pass. If we put on a permanent levy, we're back to, okay, we're just permanent with that. Where we are with the township being annexed as much as they are, we've had notices this week up on Hague Avenue, more properties being annexed. Every time we have a piece of property annexed into the city, that's a tax base that we're not going to get. If we go with a township-wide levy, I'm hoping that we can figure out, for instance, we need $5 million to operate the fire department. Knowing that once before, when we put this levy on 8 years ago, the first time we ever did a time levy, the casino's portion would be $1.2 million, if I remember correctly. Are we able to do and give the taxpayers a relief that they deserve and do a 3.75 mil levy? When I say million levy, I don't know how many mils it would be, and that's what we want to find out today. And the additionals monies would be made up by the township-wide levy to get us as close as possible to a $5.5 million. Now, from the information that I read here recently, if we did a township-wide levy, of course, all the levies we currently have would go away. So we would just have the one new levy at a different price. Any of the new construction, when it comes on board, like say the Hague Avenue area, subsequently could actually take us over the $5 million levy, where that monies could help encumber the fire department with updating equipment and et cetera. But the beauty of that part of the levy would be that the residents are not paying the 5 million, they're paying on a lower amount. And they finally get a break that they deserve, and as things annex, then those fields or 4 or 5 homes tore down and turn into a $3 million apartment buildings, you can imagine what your property tax would be on a $3 million piece of property. So that in a nutshell, I wanted to try to get an idea if, you know, is this something feasible, or is it too expensive going a township-wide levy?
So before you, we ran various scenarios and I color-coded them to help with that. And I have extra copies up here if anybody would like a copy of it. In the yellow box is where you are right now. You're collecting $3.7 million on the 4 levies, and it's costing the homeowner $308 per 100,000. The blue boxes are the various scenarios presented for a township-wide levy, both 5 million, 4 million, and 3.5 million. Let's start with the 3.5. What this does is you collect actually less revenue than you're getting now. It actually costs your existing taxpayers more money because you're losing the state credits.
Okay.
By running a new levy, currently your 4 existing levies all are qualified levies that are eligible for state credits, meaning the state pays a portion of the property owner's taxes, not the property
For
owner.
the people that
Correct.
that are able to. Do you know how many people we have in the township by any chance?
I do not, but it applies to all homeowner residents.
Okay.
So, and then also there's owner-occupied credits that are also paid by the state.
Okay, so just to keep up with you, currently in the yellow, on a $100,000 home was 308.19.
Yes.
And then based on unincorporated area, in the white, would that be what is?
The white is just,
Okay.
they eliminated the 5.8 to show what you were collecting on your
Okay.
indefinite levies.
And then the township-wide levy, which scenario?
They're in the blue, over on the
blue.
right, yes.
So in the blue, I'm looking here on the same type of levy per cost per $100,000 home. So the difference would be from 308.14 to 470.75. Is that correct?
To raise 5 million, yes.
And that's at 5 million. And then
Yes.
the yellow is based on how many million?
3.7, what you're currently collecting.
Okay. And that's with the time levy included?
Yes.
Okay. So is the chief, was we having him on the
He's on the phone.
Okay,
I asked the
so
same thing.
there he is, I see him now. Chief, how much money do we need, if we're operating now on 3.75 mil, how many do we need, millions, when I say mil, not millage, do we need to operate your department? Do we need to undo him, or is he, oh, I hear you
Can you hear
now.
me?
Yeah, I hear you.
If you're not including EMS transport revenue,
Correct.
I think we all decided the $5 million would be comfortable. Anything less than that, you're going to end up relying on that EMS revenue.
So when I'm looking at these numbers, at the $3,739,000, that is currently what we've been running on, and is this number including the levy that went away?
It's including the levy that's due to expire.
Okay,
yes.
so we have been operating on a $739,000 levy. how is it that we now need to jump up to a $5 million levy?
Because of the SAFER grant. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, the SAFER provided the ability to run that second medic, which is a substantial amount of money, and then we're relying on that 1.2 million in EMS transport revenue.
Okay.
So that will cut in half since we're at one station.
So when I look at these numbers in yellow and then in blue, what we currently would be paying would be 308. But if we want to, I'm going to round it off, $170 more per $100,000 home would basically be a levy that would never need redone again, because we would be getting the incorporated area as it develops and it brings your budget above. So my question is, instead of people paying $170 more a month is that per month?
That's a year.
Yeah.
Per year, $170 per year more. What if we was to ask for a $4 million budget, which we have showing down below, and it is $376 a year more, or no, the total would be $376 versus 308. And with the additional fundings that come in from EMS and et cetera, would that be suffice for the fire department?
You asking Bob?
Yes, Bob, Chief.
I think as long as the growth is consistent, I think we could probably make that work. But you're relying on growth that's not tax abated or tipped, which is probably pretty unlikely.
So when we look at the growth that we see that is coming up with Westland Mall, right now we pretty much, it's 100 acres, or let's say there's 4 acres out of the 98 acres is being developed. We do not know what that cost is going to be on property tax at that. Do you know what Westland Mall is currently paying anybody?
Yeah.
Does anyone on here know?
Only Bob might know, but I don't know.
Bob, do you know what they're currently paying?
I have no idea, I don't have access to any of that.
Okay, so with the new, I'm gonna call them apartments, they're the senior, I think they call that a senior's living in the back, I would guesstimate a few $1 million easy for the size and scope of the project. Is there any way that we guesstimate what the apartments up at Hague and Trayview, where we're at with cost-wise on that by any chance?
This is all cards that I don't think anyone's gonna tell you.
Well, I just didn't know, I mean, we know that we're looking at property that was worth $50,000, $60,000, maybe $100,000 purchase or $200,000 purchase for 6 to 8 acres. Pretty much know when you're looking at 300 person apartments, there's several $1 million that's gonna be in there. Is there a way to figure if something is valued with a township-wide levy at $3 million for one particular parcel, what that would encumber into the township?
You could, yes. Given a fair market value, one could extrapolate potential tax revenue.
Okay,
But as mentioned, the likelihood that this property will be abated or TIF is probably very high.
and then what about, like, for instance, with the casino? At one time, as I mentioned, and this is prior to them putting up a casino, putting up a hotel, and now we're looking at, they have a hotel, and we're looking at 8-9 years later, the tax value. Would we still be able to see a tax revenue coming in from that if we were township-wide?
You would, but I think your focus is totally from the township's point of view. My question is, why would anyone in the incorporated area vote for your levy?
Okay,
Because in scenario number 2, they currently are paying 0 those people.
Correct.
And they would be paying the $377 per 100,000. So let's say they have a $300,000 home. They're going to be paying an additional $1,000 a year for your levy
Correct.
for fire service that they are already receiving and paying for the city of Columbus.
Well, we lost the last levy by 33 votes. So there is a significant people that find this interesting, but I think a lot of the information that we're talking about today, it's a voters saying, should people that annexed into the city to Business Incorporated, should the township take a beating on that and lose? Because every time a parcel is annexed into the city, it's the residents that have to pick up the cost, and it's on their shoulders. So would the casino be able to change to a TIF, or would they be able to do something different if we go to a township-wide levy to keep from paying any taxes to us?
I believe that they could, yes.
Okay. So the people that get to vote on this levy, is it just the residents of Franklin Township?
If you put on a township-wide levy, then everyone who would be subject to that township-wide levy would be required to vote on it.
So people subject to it, they would have their right to say, no, I don't want to tax myself.
So people in the, with your current levies being just the unincorporated area of the township, your current levies, only people in the unincorporated area of the township vote on them. If you put on a township-wide levy, people in the unincorporated and incorporated area, so anyone who's annexed into Columbus, it's still part of Franklin Township, would be able to vote on that levy.
Okay.
And I think to Robert's point, be something to think about in terms of business decisions is the folks who, that's a new population that is not paying taxes to Franklin Township currently and would be subject to that tax. Just something to think about.
So, Chief, my question to you would be, could you operate your department at status quo when you're all stations open with a $4 million budget, understanding the monies that come in from EMS billing and any potential new monies that may come in?
It would be extremely tight. Would. There would just be no room for any kind of growth, raises, truck replacements, etc.
So,
But that would be both, I'm sorry, John.
No, I'll tell you
That
what.
would be both houses then?
That's just one firehouse.
Okay.
so with a lot of time given, I'm going to quit speaking, and if
Sure, I got some. So I just want to clarify, because there's a lot of misinformation going around. We're having people stand out front here and telling people that this firehouse is closed when it's really open. Certain days of the week it has been opened. And so for clarification, Bob, when you speak, can you please let us know if you're talking about operating both firehouses? You're only talking about operating one firehouse for the duration of this meeting, please. So I have no idea where we're, go ahead.
Just one
Okay.
firehouse.
All right. Then I wanted to ask you a question, if you don't mind. You were talking about this blue section and people losing funds that the government are helping them pay. Would that not, I was always told that it's going to also affect that senior discount too, is that correct? The homestead, I believe it's called?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll go away too, right?
Well, no, the homestead or so for the homestead, you're still eligible because that's based on age and income.
Okay.
So you still would be eligible to receive that as a taxpayer, but you would lose the home, the owner occupied credit.
Okay. Okay, then.
And the rollback as well.
Yes.
So then for me, to try to help move this meeting along, is that I hope to come into this today and have somebody explain something to me that makes me change my mind. So I want to let it be known to my fellow trustees that I will not be in support of a township-wide levy.
And so it would be up to you guys to, we can decide. James, I think we know where John stands. He's talked about it, he's passionate about it. I'm fine with that and everything, but it's basically gonna come down to you. If you have interest in a township-wide levy, we should continue to talk about that, but if you don't, there's other things on here that we can move forward.
So people would lose their rollback and their occupied owners, so they,
So you would continue to collect the amount you've always collected, but instead of getting a portion of it paid by the state, it's paid by the taxpayer.
that's the difference going up,
Yes.
it looks like, okay.
Yes.
What is the cost per $100,000 home if someone has rollback and has, there's two on there, one's a rollback and one's a,
10 and 2.5, so 12.5%.
okay, so 12, okay. $120 a year then,
Yes,
okay.
all right.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Mr. Mazur, is there anything that you would like to ask?
No, sir.
Julie, is there anything you'd like to address the board and ask any questions?
We have prepared 4 sample resolutions based on the 4 scenarios that Chief circulated to the board last week or so. As the board's aware, the first step towards moving any levy along, potential levy, is certifying a resolution to the auditor's office. You do have 4 resolutions in front of you. If you adopt any or all or none of those resolutions, that doesn't commit you to putting that specific levy on the ballot, but it just moves the process forward. And so, again, August 6th is the deadline. I would, again, if the board is not sure exactly which direction it's going to go, you don't have to commit to that today, but
Sure.
For purposes of moving forward, if some or any of those scenarios look attractive to you, I would encourage you to consider moving the process along, so that way the auditor's office can get to their part.
I do have a question. Just for clarification for everyone, including myself, every one of these properties that have annexed has, like if it's an apartment complex, the casino, they can ask for TIFs and abatements from the tax increase, correct?
Yes, so the property owners or
Yeah.
the developer, if it's being
XYZ
developed,
developers
can go to
can
the
go
city
to it.
and ask for an abatement, ask for a TIF. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Thank you.
So gentlemen, with this information in front of us, this is a tough call, because I'm not just looking at the here and now today. I'm looking at our local government being eat up. The amount of property that we have had this year alone, especially in the north end of the township, it gets to a point where we either lose services because it can't be attainable by cost. How many more years, it's like pixie sticks that you pull out. How many more years can we possibly go until we don't have a township that it just basically gets annexed into the city? Because it implodes. And what I mean by imploding is any resident can pay their fee and go and annex their property into the city. And it gets to a certain point where it's pretty expensive. You know, I pay a hefty price for taxes myself. And there's a certain point where it does look very appetizing to be able to say I can annex into city and I can get these services and I'm going to pay X amount. So if we are at a crucial point that weighing all the options of, okay, if we just go as the status quo, this is what happens. They annex, they get the abatements, they get the TIFs. If we put a township-wide levy on, it somewhat protects the township, because if we still obtain those tax revenue dollars from there. It protects the residents from having to pay more. It also behooves of someone to not want to develop it in Franklin Township versus annex it into the city and develop it. The end result is generally they're going to want to develop it. So there needs to be a happy balance here, and I really don't know what it is. I really don't know to jump into this. I don't know if we all need to digest this. I'm not pushing for a resolution today to say we want to go with this, but I definitely would love to hear from the public, and I wish that the public would come. I mean, we got 7 people, and at our meetings, this is a very tough decision to make for the public. Now, we were elected to do so, and I am trying to look down the road for the people that sit in these seats when we're no longer here, or choose not to be here, or the change of the seats. How does that protect our township later on? So at this crossroads, we look each direction, and it's a very tough. Each of us have personal considerations in this decisions, how their honest mind is going to see the township and what direction it goes. So it's not a very easy decision. I respect everybody's decision on this. And at this point, it asks the board, are you seeking to want to make a decision today? Or do you wish to, how much time do we have, sir, to?
We have until August 6th, but we have to have filings in before, to the auditor's office before what?
So August 6th is the deadline to get everything to the Board of Election. What I would say is, in terms of process, the board has to adopt a resolution requesting auditor certification. The auditor's office will then have to run the numbers and make their certification. At that point, then the trustees pass a second resolution placing the levy on, requesting that the Board of Elections place the levy on the ballot. Again, August 6th
3
at 4
weeks.
p.m. is the absolute deadline, but I would encourage you to try to get the process completed as soon as possible, so that way the Board of Elections can review in case there are any red flags on that end. It gives you some time to address their concerns.
I can't believe I'm getting ready to say this, but we're gonna do today what we do best here. We're gonna kick the can further down the road and not make a decision. So we meet back on the 24th as our next regular meeting. I think if we don't make a decision, that would be the drop dead day to actually make a decision that allows enough time to get all of that, what you just said, done.
I can't say, obviously with here's what I would say. Because the auditor's office does have to be involved, obviously I'd suspect they're very busy this time of year, and I think they'll probably try to do what they can to move things through quickly. I can't speak to what a true drop dead date would be. And again, I cannot say that if July 24th, if that would provide the auditor's office with sufficient time. The board could also hold a special meeting in between
Oh,
now and
absolutely.
then.
I was just trying to, I'll come anytime.
Yeah.
I don't have commitments, but I was trying to think of my fellow trustees.
Absolutely.
They have commitments, and I do understand that. I was just trying to throw it out there, that's all. You wanna come back for a special meeting? Give me the time and date, and I'll be here.
Bob, I
I
have
can
a,
interrupt.
go ahead, yes.
Robert came there specifically to talk to you and tell you about each of these levies and what they could do, the proposals that you guys had asked for. If you would let him speak on that, maybe you would have a better understanding of
Great,
what
yeah.
that means.
Absolutely. I didn't realize we were missing something. I apologize.
No, that's
All right.
perfectly fine. So maybe to give some context, I am the fiscal officer of a township also, 23 years now. We have 2 fire stations, 34 full-time firefighters, 6 part-time firefighters. So we face this same dilemma that you are now currently, that we have put a 5-year levy on the ballot this November. The positive for us is our levy doesn't expire until next year, so we have 3 bites at the apple to get it passed. My understanding is this is your last opportunity with this levy. So the first question is, what happens if it fails? What happens if you lose that $1,060,000 that this levy is currently bringing in? So that's the big question of what if. You've put something on the ballot for several years now that has not passed. It got close, but it still didn't pass. So you're in the ninth inning, 2 outs, bases loaded. Do you need a home run, or do you just need a single to get you tied up so you can continue playing the game? So that's something to consider. I agree with you wholeheartedly that coming back to the taxpayers every 5 years is not the way to operate your public safety services. Unfortunately, that's what voters want. That what we tried to run an indefinite. We have 2 indefinites on our books that we can't get rid of because of the state credits. Our hands have been tied because of the lawmakers removing that option of retaining those credits with new levies. So that makes things difficult, having multiple levies on your books. So you have to I think about, yes, I know what the fire department needs or wants to operate, but what's going to get you across the finish line this November? Some of the discussions we just had would be great last year, but this is your final chance. So what will the taxpayers support? And when you decide on that, it's boots on the ground, knocking on doors, saying, to keep our fire department open, this is what we need. And hopefully getting the support for that.
So what do you think, sir?
I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
And I appreciate your baseball analogy, 'cause, yeah, I'm a big baseball fan.
I just wanted to add that we can do as many auditor certificates as you request. So ultimately, you really don't have to make the final decision today. If you've got 4 that you want to pass, send those over. We'll do the auditor cert, send it back. And ultimately, the next meeting is when you have to decide on what you're going to put on the ballot, because that's where you're going to do the proceed to the Board of Elections to vote.
So if there are multiple scenarios you'd like to see, you can pass multiple resolutions. As Carrie said, you can get multiple auditor certifications and then make a final decision as to what goes to the Board of Elections.
So what way are you leaning, sir, so that we can narrow this
Well,
down?
I can't see taking money and like I said, I love the analogy. We need to tie the ball game up and look for other avenues and other means, I believe. Taking funds away from our taxpayers and raising taxes in this difficult times that economic times that we're in, I just cannot get behind it at this point in time.
Okay, so, Mr. Blevins, which one do you favor on here, color-wise?
You were asked to come here to explain these, or do you mind going down them?
Oh, sure. So as we indicated, yellow is what you're currently operating with. We were asked to do a renewal with an increase of 3.2 mil, and again, that was to get you to the 4.32 mils was just a back end number to get you to the $5 million of revenue. That is an increase to the taxpayers of $151 per 100,000. So again, if you got a $300,000 home, that's going to be $450 a year. We then had a replacement with an increase of 2.6 mils. Now, explaining the difference between a replacement and a renewal. A renewal keeps your effective rates as they were when it's renewed. So currently you've got a 5.89 mil levy that's collecting 2.9 from residents within the township. A replacement bumps that number back up to 5.89. So you actually collect more revenue based on a replacement. It kind of resets the value of your township. In that scenario, you still get to the 5 million, but that costs the taxpayer $176 per 100,000.
And that's which color one? are you-
That's the red.
Down here?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then,
Okay.
then we were asked to do an additional, or essentially a new 7.95 mil levy and let the 5.89 just expire to also, which would raise $5 million, but that equates to the exact same thing, $176 per 100,000 for residents.
So in which,
That's the orange.
bottom, okay, gotcha, right here.
So
So-
that's a new levy.
The
The red
time-
is replace, the green is renew.
Oh, so the time and the replace would be essentially the same, but we just wouldn't have to come back every 5 years.
Well, in each of these scenarios, no. So in a replacement, you would be replacing the existing 5-year levy with another 5-year levy.
Correct.
With a new, you could go for an indefinite.
And it would be the same cost to the taxpayers?
Yes.
And then we don't end up putting public safety at risk at 5 years, can we pass another levy?
Correct.
So basically, same cost as you were paying before, it's just that this, if you want a permanent fire station, here's a permanent levy, and we go from there.
Not in the orange scenario. The orange scenario was getting to your 5 million. Now, if you did a replace or a new at essentially what the 5.89 is collecting, you could do an indefinite. But the problem with that is you can see that the effective rates vary between residential and commercial. So your effective rate is 2.9 for residents and 4.9 for commercial.
Okay.
So when you run a replacement or a new, it's a single amount. You can't have one
So
versus
the
the other.
benefit is it catches up with the current status with a higher rate in the commercial area.
Correct, but you would have, it more than likely, it would cost your residents more and give your commercial a break.
Awesome.
So let's say if you went with 3.5, something in the middle, residents are gonna pay more because they're only paying 2.9 now, and your commercial is gonna pay less because they're paying 4.9 now.
Okay, so in looking at this and the colors, we've got, I don't know what color.
It's green.
Okay, so we got green, I'm gonna make, and then this is
That's
red?
red. And
And
orange.
orange.
Yes.
Okay, so looking at these, cost-wise, I'm just trying to see how I can stay at the same price and be a permanent levy, if possible. But it sounds like what you pay per month. Excuse me, additional cost per year. And it looks as if the 175 and the 175 are identical the same, correct?
Yes.
So one is based upon the 7.95 mil, and the other one is based on a 5.89. And I'm not paying attention so much to that, is I'm looking at the actual dollars that someone's paying. So which one is the time levy? The green, the red, or the orange?
The red, a replacement would be a time levy. Renewal would also be a time levy.
And then what the red one would be, and the other one was which?
The green.
The green.
Those would be both 5 years because you're either renewing or replacing the existing levy. The orange is actually a new levy, so you can make it 5 years, 10 years.
Okay. And then
Indefinite.
And then the green would be a permanent, is that correct?
No, it would be also a 5-year because you're renewing your existing levy.
The blue is permanent.
Which one in the
Over
blue?
there on the far.
This one? I thought those were the township-wide
Well,
levy.
they could be permanent.
Yeah.
But it didn't have to be a township-wide to be a permanent levy.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what, so I've already,
For it to be permanent in the unincorporated area, it has to be renewed.
Okay.
Can't be,
So-
I'm sorry, it has to be new, it can't be a renew or a replace.
So the blue I'm not even looking at. We're narrowing it down.
We've already heard.
Right, we
That's not
heard,
supported.
we heard that, and I respect that. So what I'm trying to look at, okay, so again, the green is a 5-year, and that is a renewal?
Yes,
Okay, renewal for 5 years, whatever you want to make it, correct?
correct. Well, I think it has to be renewed 4 or 5 years.
Okay, gotcha. The red is replacement, and it's also a 5-year, is that correct?
Yeah.
Then we have the orange, which is a replacement, no, that's a
No,
permanent.
Brand new.
New.
So in that scenario, your current 5 mil levy would burn off.
Yes,
So you're dealing with the renewal and replacement, green and red.
okay,
That's a renewal
okay,
with an increase with your existing 5 mil levy. The orange scenario, your existing 5 mil levy burns off at the end of this year,
and this
and
takes
a
over.
new levy in the amount of 7.95 mils will be added.
And it gives the security that we're not going to be 5 years from now going through this again at the same identical to the penny as the red, a time levy. So one is $175.77 for the red, and the new, which is the orange, would be $175.77. So they're identical as far as what cost to the taxpayers.
That is correct.
And that is an increase to what they're paying now.
That is correct.
Okay.
But it's just in the, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
again.
dollar for dollar is what we're looking at now, for me. So for me, it comes down between one of these two. How do you gentlemen feel?
One of which two?
Orange or red?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we did,
Robert,
I'm
There.
sorry,
yes.
you said
I'm
that,
sorry.
No, please speak
Robert,
up.
do the taxpayers lose their credit?
Yes, and that's why it's $176,
Like
yes.
that?
Because that includes loss of the credit. So a new or replace, you lose the credits. Renewal, you get to keep the credits. That's why there's a $26, $24 difference between those two. But you're still raising 5 million.
And you're still paying the same, the $175.77 versus
In
$175.77.
those two scenarios, yes, it's the
But they
same.
lose,
But the reason it's higher than the green is because they lose the credit. You still collect 5 million, but
Right.
they are paying.
So the $25 difference, you lose the credit, but you're gaining a permanent.
Yes,
So that's the $25 difference on a $100,000 home per year if you go to a permanent levy.
yes.
Okay, so gentlemen, I guess what we look at, even on a $300,000 home, you're looking at $75 more to have a permanent levy, or we go to a time levy in the green that's $151.22, and that doesn't help us when the state does that. Like
Correct.
take away
It does
credits
not.
that you.
Yes.
It's
And they're
it's hurting.
they're talking about taking away replacement levies, so that's going to hurt even more.
So we have a lot of people in this township that this gives a lot of heartache when we have to close the station or we have to close down any services or what we're going through now. So that hurts a lot of our residents. If we charge $25 more, not it's we, but the board essentially would vote that, on a $100,000 home, it would cost $25 more a year. Is that more of a burden to the people than it is to not have the service?
It's, well, going with the increases that were proposed here in these scenarios, it's $176 per 100,000 a year. So on a $300,000 home, that's $450 per year, not
Okay, because I'm looking at, you said with the difference between the,
Yes, the
The
difference
$25
between the green and
Yes,
red. But the
yes.
difference between what they're currently paying and the green or the red is a lot more than
yeah,
that.
bottom line is, we're not escaping this without them paying a little more, paying more.
The
As
only
well.
option that does not require your residents to pay more would be a straight renewal.
Okay.
And that one is which color? Is that the white?
That is the yellow.
Yellow.
You're just renewing what you currently have for another 5 years to keep you in the ballgame, even if it's extra innings,
Gotcha.
to come up with a
So that's the
solution
30814.
that taxpayers will support.
Okay. So, gentlemen,
And
I'm
we
open
don't
to-
have to wait the 5 years. We can come up
Correct,
with a
yes.
solution at any time.
Yes, in May, you could put something on the ballot.
Right. This just keeps our
Yes.
people
It
protected
keeps us,
with one house.
we at least have a fire department and something to run.
Yes, that's why I asked the question, what happens if you were to lose that $1 million? Because you have one chance at this, and if it fails again, even if you put something on in May, you won't collect until 2027.
Sure. Tough decisions. So, gentlemen, we went from taking out the blue totally, due to the cost. We went from $407.78. If we went down to the orange, it would be $175.77
More.
versus the, the red, which is identical, but then it's a 5-year. So those two are identical versus the yellow, which would take us to status quo, same pay, same likeness, and due to the fact that it's cheaper because the $25 difference is because of the rollbacks. So we have a choice of, in my opinion, 1, 2, or 3, yellow, red, or orange. Unless I'm seeing something different, I would love to entertain any thoughts.
I have a question for Bob. Chief Arnold, under the current levy, the 3 point, if we did the new one, if we just went with the yellow one as we're talking here, and you get $3.7 million, that can keep one firehouse open, correct?
At the barest minimum.
I realize that.
Probably very long, if it lasts, like just the 23 number of staff is gonna cost you right about that much next year. So you're relying on EMS billing income, which if they mess with Medicaid in the state or federally, that's gonna influence that, so it's not a revenue that I'm super comfortable relying on. So 3.7 is, I honestly don't think you could run a fire department very long with that.
And then what year do we see the money's coming? You said 2027?
This would be this year, that'd be 26.
So if you renew, there's no gap, but if it were to fail, the very first opportunity.
Oh, you're talking fail.
Yes,
Okay,
if it were
gotcha.
to fail, the very
Okay.
first opportunity would be May for tax year 26, collection year 27.
So, Mr. Blevins, I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, I don't have an answer, John. I
You
wanted to
can,
ask.
you can
them-
cross off the blue. We pretty much come to that consensus.
I had a blue crossed off before we walked in.
Okay.
So, did you say that you could do up not as many, but could you do up 3 for us so we would be down the line a little bit further with a decision and then we would be able to pick out of the 3?
Yes, we can do as many as resolutions as you want to pass. I've done, I believe, up to 12 for one person before, so.
It's a lot of work.
I don't want you to make the
I
right.
like your thinking, Mike.
Huh?
I like where you're going with that.
Well, I thought I heard her say that.
Yeah.
I'm the newest one here. I have the least amount of experience. I rely heavily on John because he's been here the longest and he has the most experience. But I did pick up on you saying that earlier, and that would move us closer to having just a little bit more time to think this through. And I hate to sit here and make decisions, snap decisions. I just do. It bothered me when I sat back there, and it bothers me more now that I have to be one of the people that have to do it. So, if I'm explaining myself well enough, that would be where I'm at right now.
Well, I'm like-minded with you because I think we've whittled it down, but I'm looking towards you, and just, I'm not wanting to convince anybody of anything. I want all of us to be able to say, hey, what do we think is best gonna be? I'm open to any of these. The only thing that I'd ask the board to think about, we had the same situation with the police department, and the public said, yes, we want a permanent police department, and theirs went to permanent, and they're okay. Do we want to ask the public the same identical thing? Granted that it failed by 33 votes on a more expensive levy that was a township-wide levy. If we go back to one of these other colors, that is a orange, which would be a new, or the other ones would be all 5-year term, 5 years. So the question is going to be, what do we think the public would want?
But the last time that you did the police and that it went through, was that like their analogy where it's the end of the ballgame?
I believe, sir, it was.
Okay.
It was either that or we lay off half the department. And it passed, sir, it passed by high numbers, is that, I don't have it, I may have it with me, so.
We had to do just what he said, boots on the ground and really get out there and execute.
How many years ago was that?
That was just 4 years ago?
Well, the world.
2 years ago.
The world's a different place.
I agree, 2 years ago.
And John, no disrespect, but we got to stop calling it a permanent levy, permanently funding, because we're not permanently funding in any department. It's an indefinite amount of money because we're going to have to go back.
The reason that we call it a permanent levy is that it's not a time levy.
Right,
So,
but again, I think that confuses residents of the fact that they think it's permanent funding for the fire department or police department. I think we should need to be calling it an indefinite levy because it doesn't go away. But realistically, you're going to have to go back as time goes and costs go up and ask for more money.
so if someone was to research an indefinite levy versus a permanent levy, I don't know which would come up, but I like to call it what it is related to the state as far as what they have. So if someone researches it, if you say permanent levy, it would pop up as a levy that is, et cetera.
That's what I'm saying. I think they call it, correct me if I'm wrong, indefinite.
Indefinite, so it is called indefinite then? So I stand corrected then, and, because I want people to be able.
And in fact, they really mean the same thing
Right.
in black and white, but perception-wise.
You have a very valid
Yeah,
point.
the perception of
If
it.
someone is listening to us now and they hear us say a permanent levy, and they Google it or trying to find out, it's easier if it's indefinite levy. Okay.
Because of rollbacks, and especially
Right.
if you don't have a lot of new construction,
Sure.
even indefinite levies have to either be run again or you have to add to them.
So what I'm calling permanent then would be indefinite, is that what you called it?
Indefinite, yeah.
Okay, indefinite levy. Anything else, gentlemen? Obviously, we're probably not going to make a decision. Anyone else have anything else for us?
So are we going to ask them to?
Any mock-up that you would like, I would highly suggest asking them now.
You can do
We have to
various
pass- we have to
scenarios
pass
of the renewal.
resolutions.
So in terms of the draft resolutions, we have a scenario for the orange.
Okay.
You have a resolution for the orange scenario. I was not aware of the green or red, so we would have to put those resolutions together. We could get that turned around very quickly, but that's not in front of the board to take action on today. But certainly if the board wanted to move on orange, that's something that at least the auditor's office could get started on. And then the board could, again, call a special meeting to take action on the other two. The versions, again, setting aside the township-wide levy, the three scenarios that you have resolutions for in front of you. Again, the orange scenario, we've got a resolution for you. If you wanted just to see the scenario, just a renewal of the current 5 mil levy, 5.89, and then just a replacement of that same levy. I don't know that, again, those last two scenarios are not reflected on the sheet, but you've got them if for some reason you feel so inclined to push this forward.
I'm gonna rely on you.
And then the paperwork can follow. So if you're requesting from us a renewal +1, renewal +2,
Yeah.
renewal +3, we can do that.
Yeah.
You will have to, pass a formal resolution
Yeah.
for the paperwork for the Board of Elections, but we can get that rolling for you.
Yes. So my question is, would you want to see other scenarios other than here, or are there any that is comfortable for you? Are you thinking that you would rather see a renewal that is a time levy, or would you support something as the orange, did I write orange? Orange, that is a permit levy, that these two are identical in cost? And sir, I'd
I like to
ask you,
see all three of those. And the green, pink as well.
yes, but what I'm asking is, we have some, if we were to move today, or do you want to see a different mock-up of different numbers? Do we have any, are we close to making a decision today if we're like-minded in any of these scenarios that are currently presented before us?
Can I ask the chief a question again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chief, are you there?
I'm here, sir.
All right, just to reiterate, to comfortably run one station, what type of revenue do you need?
I would like one that generates 5 million in revenue.
Okay, so that's the bottom line, 5 million. Now, that $5 million, that allows you to comfortably staff the firehouse, correct?
Yes, one firehouse completely staffed with enough money to work into the future as far as replacement of trucks when needed, inflation raises, et cetera, et cetera.
That's my second question. You and I have talked about this. You've got an engine that's how old? 20 years old?
I have one that's 25, one that's 15, and one that's 6.
What's the lifetime usually on an engine?
10 years.
Okay, so this $5 million, this would allow you to put money aside each year in a capital account, so you would have funds to replace vehicles.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, chief.
So Chief, I have a question for
You
you.
got cleared it up for me.
Are we looking at, in these scenarios, that Franklin Township is just going to one station?
All of these scenarios are one station.
Okay.
My budget 2 years ago to run 2 stations was $6.5 million.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I would
here-
just say those three.
here's one of the things that, what we're hearing. I don't want to muddy the waters anymore. I think I've
Please don't.
muddied the waters enough.
So if the general consensus is you'd like to move forward with green, red, and orange, we have a resolution contemplating orange. The board can certainly move on that today. That way, the auditor's office can get together their formal certification. Our directive would then be to get together the resolutions for green and red. The board would likely need to call a special meeting, so that way you can move on those two, and then, again, get it to the auditor's office. Once you have all three certifications, the board would then have to, look at the three scenarios and make a decision on what goes to the Board of Elections.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which color, sir, are you favoring?
No, I'm not doing that today. We're
Oh.
doing all three. She has orange ready to go.
Yep.
She's gonna get the next 2 ready to go, and we're gonna come back and
And we're asking,
Okay.
vote on
we're
that.
gonna, just so you can get to work on
When
it.
you were
we're
saying
gonna
you were
be
good
coming
with that, I
back.
No,
thought you
I'm
wanted-
good with what Julie
Gotcha.
just told us. That's what I'm good with, I'm sorry.
No
And I will
worries.
look at my calendar right now.
Didn't Julie say that she has one for renewal and a replacement as well, already ready?
She has one ready, yes.
Pardon me, this was for 5 year. This was the conversation we had yesterday, so this would not be a continual.
Right. Concerning
And so
the
that's-
orange,
and
the orange box?
Orange
Yes.
was continual, and
Yes.
so actually, actually, I don't have that scenario for you.
Okay, so,
Because we based them all on 5 years.
On 5 years,
Yes.
yep.
Yes.
I have about an hour on Monday, morning I could be in here, and then later on in the week, but,
can you have them ready by Monday?
Absolutely.
Are
okay.
you good with Monday?
Yeah, well, what time are we talking?
I'm
Early
available.
or afternoon?
9 o'clock.
Okay.
My rest of my day is, I'm the sole survivor at our office on
I
next week.
think I have a doctor's appointment for my father at
Okay.
9 on Monday.
Okay.
I could move some stuff, and we could do a quick one at 11, because I got a hard stop, I have a hard meeting at noon.
11 o'clock, do you remember what that time was? 2 o'clock?
There's two appointments back.
Okay, so what time in my calendar would you say that I'm free?
It's hard to say when it's gonna be over. I think mine's at 10, 9 and 10.
Okay, so, I'd say I could do 12, 12:30, is that good?
What about the end of your day, James? When do you wind up?
I could be here at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I can swing in here.
I'm here anytime, so I'm
You
trying to
want
work
3
with you.
I could do Tuesday also at 9 o'clock.
I think Tuesday for me, I don't have anything.
I
on
need
the
more
calendar.
context to understand what 9
Okay.
o'clock.
I'll be here
You
whenever.
use that, I use something else.
Tuesday at 9 a.m.?
Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Is
is
that what
fine
you're
with
saying?
me. Yeah, I'm good with Tuesday at 9 a.m.
And I'm hoping that allows these ladies enough time to get their part
And
done if we do that, so.
I can be available.
Okay.
Again, focus on what will the taxpayers support.
Sure.
I know the chief needs the 5
Absolutely.
million, but what will the taxpayers support, knowing that this is your last
Yeah.
swing at the
Opportunity,
plate?
right,
Yes.
because we're putting public safety, I understand. It's a tough
Yes,
situation.
we
a tough
faced the
call.
exact same thing. We did a survey, we got very limited response. We have some super strong supporters of anything you want, we'll get it for you because they deserve it. And then we have residents that I just can't pay anymore.
I understand that, though.
And
It's tough.
That's why I was looking at the numbers the same. and-
we're up against that.
Yeah.
We're very diverse demographically. And,
Okay. Okay, so I think that concludes this portion of our new business. We do need to move on to some resolutions that we have. So I want to thank everybody for being on Zoom. I thank you for coming in. And if no one else has anything else for us, then I greatly appreciate it.
If any of you have any questions and want to call the office and ask any additional questions, we're happy to answer you. So give us a call if you have more questions as you're thinking about this.
Okay,
Okay.
well, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank you
everybody.
all.
Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you, Bob. Thanks for coming, I
Good night.
really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Your explanations were down to my level.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your help.
I'm gonna give them a moment to feel free to.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
You're fine. We'll just,
Can we have a?
I'm gonna put us in a recess. The time is now 10:11. If I can have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we are in recess. Second to reconvene after our meeting.
After our
Oh,
recess.
excuse me, recess.
I will second that.
Okay. We are now back in session. New business, discuss the fire levy, which we did. Resolution to approve the 2026 tax budget.
Yes, sir. I've got Resolution 2025-109, resolution to adopt the annual tax budget for Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, for the year beginning January 1, 2026, to submit the same to the Franklin County Budget Commission. And whereas the tax budget for 2026 has been prepared as required by Section 5705.28 of the Ohio Revised Code, 2 copies of the budget were on file in the Administrative Office for public inspection on July 8, 2025, and were available for public inspection as required by Section 5705.30 of the ORC. A public hearing was held by the Franklin Township Board of Trustees on July 17, 2025. Now therefore be resolved by the trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the tax budget for Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio for the year beginning January 1, 2026, attached hereto is Attachment A and incorporated by reference, B, and is hereby adopted by the Board of Trustees. The administrator is hereby authorized to send a copy of this resolution and to transmit the same to the Franklin County Budget Commission on or before August 4, 2025. Be it resolved that all formal actions of the board concerning and related to this resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that result in such formal actions were in a meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force effective immediately upon its adoption.
If there's no further questions in said resolution, I'd ask for a second.
I'll second.
Here in the second, any other discussions?
Yeah, I have some discussions. I cannot vote on this today because I just got this yesterday afternoon to go over. And
I
have not
actually
had time.
emailed it to you gentlemen on June 25th.
I have not had time to go over. I checked my emails and I have not seen it. And there's also an extension filed by, we have all received an email stating that our seated fiscal officer has filed an extension. So I don't see any necessary needs to push this through today without, and another thing is she weighed in on this at all? Has anyone heard from her on this?
I've not.
Has she got this?
We can't talk to her, she's on medical leave, she told us not to bother her. So she's taken herself out of the realm of being contacted about it. And I have had it for weeks. So, and
Given by her doctor's orders that she was to be off work, and to further notice, even if we sent it to her to weigh in, she's not supposed to be working.
I think that's why she filed for an extension, but I don't know.
How much, I know yesterday, I didn't see it right away, and then I did see it, and I spent, I don't know, three and a half hours on it. I had a few questions and came in and et cetera. Do you feel comfortable by Tuesday being able to have that?
Yeah, I
so that we
should
can
be
vote?
able to read through it by Tuesday, yes.
Are you fine with holding this?
I'm ready to go today, so.
I'm in a predicament because
We have a second, and so we need to
Call for
go
a
to a
vote.
vote.
okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
Mr. Blevins,
Yes.
and Mr. Leeser.
No.
Okay. Sir, you want to go on, or you want me to, approving the plumbing contract?
Yes, sir. You'd like to read it?
No, go ahead. I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to go ahead and take over the new business, or did you want me to read them off? It was up to you.
No, it's.
Usually I turn it over to you, is why.
I'll read the plumbing contract for you, yes. Resolution 2025-110, it's a resolution authorizing Michael A. Thomas, DBA, Accountable Plumbing and Backflow Company, LLC, to install plumbing in the new maintenance building. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that that they approve Michael A. Thompson, DBA Accountable Plumbing and Backflow Company, LLC, as the primary vendor for installation of plumbing and gas service in the new road maintenance building at a cost not to exceed $65,980. The exhibit is attached. Be it further resolved that the vendor shall invoice Franklin Township requiring a 25% deposit of $16,495 to begin work. The remaining balance of $49,485 will be due at the completion of the final inspection. Be it further resolved that all formal acts of this board concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that result in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and shall be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
If there's no further questions, I'd ask for a second.
I will second it so we can go into discuss. I have a question now.
Okay.
This is the work that is being done on the new maintenance building that has already been started, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, and a roll call when ready.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Blevins.
Yes. Quick cleanup question before we go on.
Okay.
I don't know if we made a mistake, I don't want to make a mistake. Is James supposed to sign that as
Well,
well?
he didn't, he voted no, so he would not be signing that. It takes two signatures.
I didn't want to turn this over that.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
got you.
There you go.
So,
The next resolution I have is 2025-107. It's a resolution approving up to 11.8 weeks of FMLA for employee Byron Smith. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that they approve 11.8 weeks of continued leave under the Family Medical Leave Act for employee Byron Smith. Per Consolidated Administrative Services, the third-party administrator, FML administrator, in Section 4, Item BOT 04.09 of the Township Employee Policies and Procedures Handbook, the absence is approved from 5/27/25 through 8/17/25 for a total of 11.8 weeks, and the exhibit is attached for your review. Be it further resolved that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that result in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared emergency and shall be in full force effective immediately upon its adoption.
has all statutory requirements been met?
It has, and the
They're
documentation
attached,
is attached.
Okay. If there's no further questions, said matter, I'd ask for a second.
I will second it.
Now that I have the second, I'd ask for a roll call.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
I have that for you. Now I have Resolution 2025-108. It's a resolution to adopt the annual road district tax millage for Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio for the year beginning January 1, 2026, and to submit the same to the Franklin County Budget Commission. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio created a road district through Resolution 2020-108, comprising of all the unincorporated areas of the township. Due to the creation of the road district, 2.35 additional inside mills have been available for use by the road district, and the board is of the opinion that it is necessary for the operations of the road district and in the best interest of the residents to authorize and request levying of 2.35 inside mills available in the district from the Franklin County Budget Commission for the 2026 Franklin Township tax budget. Be it resolved that all formal actions of the board concerning and related to the resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, and that all deliberations of this board and its committees have resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared emergency and shall be in full force, effective immediately upon its adoption.
If there's no further question and said resolution, I'd ask for a second.
We'll second it, but I have a question. Has this form been forwarded to our sitting fiscal officer?
I don't know. I don't believe so. We had our contract accountant take care of all these for us. So I don't know if the fiscal officer has seen any of the documents or not.
Okay.
My statement would be, she's on medical leave, so I don't know. That's the only thing that I would say.
Okay. With hearing the second,
Well, with that, is our deputy, our appointed deputy fiscal officer been involved in these?
Yes, he worked with the contract accountant to make sure we got the correct inside millage numbers for him. As you know, last year,
Yeah.
we lost about $168,000. So Mr. Stevens worked closely with Mr. Kirby to make sure that we could recoup or we could get the inside millage that the residents in the township are entitled to.
Okay.
How did we lose $168,000? Refresh my memory.
Well, the documents were filed and they were inaccurate for
And it was,
last year.
and I do believe the
This
estimate came
is-
back from the auditor's office saying it was only $80-some thousand. But
this time
That's it.
last year, Jeff did the budget and had it pretty much locked down for us to see and et cetera. But things were changed between,
Oh, yeah.
and it got sent in,
The
if you
existing
recall.
fiscal officer changed things.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
I don't know if it was, she made a mistake, hit the wrong button. I don't know what happened. We've never been able to ask. So anyways, that
I got
it didn't, but what I wanted the public to know, it didn't take money away from you. It just kept money from coming in from the state to you to be used on roads. So with hearing the second, I would now ask for a roll call.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
no.
and Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Okay. There you go, sir. The next resolution I have is Resolution 2025-105. It's a resolution rescinding Resolution 2025-026 and Resolution 2024-130 prohibiting the fiscal officer from entering 2193 Frank Road. Whereas Lindsay Justice is duly elected or appointed fiscal officer of Franklin Township, possessing all rights, responsibilities, and obligations confirmed by law upon the office, and whereas the board has expressed ongoing willingness to support Ms. Justice in connecting essential fiscal officer functions, such as preparing annual budgets, conducting financial reconciliations, and has consistently requested that she simply fulfill the duties required by law. And now therefore be resolved by the Franklin Township Board of Trustees of Franklin County, the state of Ohio. Rescission prior to resolutions including 2025-036 and 2024-130, and any related orders or directives, whether formal or informal, that prohibit or restrict Lindsay Justice from entering the Township Administrative Building at 2193 Frank Road for the purpose of performing only her official duties as fiscal officer are hereby rescinded and declared null and void. And the two prior resolutions are attached. Restoration of reasonable access. Lindsay Justice shall be granted reasonable access to the Township Administrative Building located at 2193 Frank Road during normal business hours to perform her duties under the ORC and any other applicable laws. And then be it resolved that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees of resolving such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and shall be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
Okay. So, Steve, as I emailed you back and said, I'd like to have this just right. I know there can be frustration when we have a lot of people have different opinions on what should be said and not said. I remember sitting in the meeting and I said, just come to work. We were gonna pass a resolution, simply just come to work. So there is no restrictions here, there's no reason she can't be here. It's clean as mud, and I think that if this doesn't work, it's not on the board. As we keep hearing things that came from the auditor's office or whoever office it was that said, you need to get along, you need to do this. I believe this is showing that we are trying to do everything we can to do the work of the people. And if she accepts this, she accepts this. If she doesn't, she doesn't. It's, we've done our due diligence there. With that being said, I'd ask for a second if there's no other questions or statement on the matter.
I will second it. I'll just second it.
Okay.
Hold on, he just seconded it?
Yeah.
You didn't have discussion then? I thought you.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I do have some discussion, and I don't know the proper, you guys can help me here, so the only thing I want to do before we vote for it, well, I do have two questions. So, Mr. Mazur, when I met with you yesterday morning, you told me Mr. Leeser came in and told you to change the original, I'm trying to think of the word, resolution that was presented, and that he wanted it changed. And I got a text from Mr. Fleshman a little bit later, or an email went out from Mr. Fleshman a little bit later that said the same thing. So I'm concerned that there are meetings going on between two trustees and not the third trustee. Like, I'm not being kept informed. I've complained about this constantly ever since I've been on this board. It's the same thing I sat in the audience and saw him do to Ralph Horn. And so I want to make a point that I'm curious why that was changed. You were given a directive to change it.
I had a request from two trustees, yes, sir.
So I have concerns about that. And then secondly, I printed out every communication I've ever had with Miss Justice because she chose not to include me in all of her emails and everything and texts and things that went back and forth from the board. She refused, and she would text them and yourself, but not me. So if we pass that, I want this entered in with that resolution, because at some point in time, somebody's gonna take a look at this. And if you only look at it from one side, I don't want it to be a year go down. I may even be out of office by then. So I'm asking the board to allow me to enter, and you're welcome to look at them. There's all my communications back and forth from Miss Justice. I have nothing to hide. I'm not protecting her. And so I just wanted to include that.
So I'll comment on any special meeting. I'd be more than happy to open my phone and let you read any conversations back and forth. There is some work that is going on potentially with Carrie's office, looking at is there any more funding that we may be able to get for the fire department. The only thing that I was asked, did you get your email this morning? And I went back and I read it. I didn't know what it was going to be. We didn't discuss what it was going to be. Went back and read it, and then I said I would like it to just be clean without any expectations. Just as I said in here before, that just come to work. I didn't want to make any limitations so that it would keep her from coming to work. So there was, in my opinion, there was no other kind of meeting or any reason for two people trying to side and then send that in. I merely, when I read it then, as I started my day, then I sent in a text, an email, just saying real briefly, I can't remember what I said, but let's just the bottom line, just keep it clean, no expectations, just come to work.
I'm good with the second one. I just have a problem with it being changed. When that first one was sent out to us weeks ago, we all had the ability, when he sent it out, when he sends things out, he sends them out and says, get back to him if you have a problem with it. We had it for 2 weeks. No one had a problem with it. And one day prior to the meeting where it's going to get read, someone has a problem with it and we're going to react to it. I'm good with what was read. I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
But I'm just letting you
Right.
know.
Okay.
Moving forward.
I understand. Now, with that being that it came 2 weeks, I don't recall when that came, but then when I did go through it that morning, I don't know, it was 9:30 or so, I can't remember what time it was. That was the first time that I actually read that because it was a packet of what we were going to have for today's meeting. And when I saw that, that's when I said, can we take those things out and just keep it clean? There was no underlying agenda other than trying to say, if we, it seems like every time that we try to do something, and you understand how this works, well, if you didn't have that in there, or you didn't have that in there, then I would be here. Now there's nothing hindering you to come in. That's merely, all I'm trying to do is to say, there is no reason that you can't be here. If she doesn't come, then I don't know what to say. But with that being said, I would ask for, I got a second, I'd ask for a roll call.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Blevins.
Yes. Is there any opposition to my minute, my communications going in with
Do you want to do that separately, or do you
No,
want?
I may, do you object? You
I
You
have
would
no
have to make a
objection.
motion.
I have no.
Go ahead and make a motion.
So, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that on this day, Mr. Trustee Blevins is submitting for any records request, his conversations with Lindsay Justice. So if anyone wishes to see any of these, they would be able to get with Nicole. If there's no further question,
And that they remain with the motion that we just put through.
okay,
Because I want them attached to that, because there's gonna be a time that this is all gonna come to court or
Gotcha.
an agreement, and I want my communications with her.
okay,
Because she says in all of her stuff that she communicates with all of us, and she does not, and I
Okay.
have proof.
okay. So with that being said, as this is added with said motion, if there's no further question, I would ask for a second.
I'll second it.
Having the second, a roll call when you're ready.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Blevins.
Yes. Steve, it'd be all right if I just put this in the
Yes, sir.
file, you'll know what it is?
It's coming down, the
I'll put them with
resolution. If you paperclip it for
I
me,
have
Mike,
a-
would that be, yeah,
Yeah.
perfect,
Thank you.
perfect. Then the next thing I need, gentlemen, is just a motion to approve the May 2025 bank reconciliations that were completed by Mr. Kirby.
Yeah.
So I have, and I think I emailed you a copy of those prior.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's appreciated that we now, after all these years, we actually have those, all the years that we didn't, and the state asking, well, you should have known, if you would have had those, you would have known there's a problem.
Then the last thing I know, and I'll kind of take the bull by the horns on this again, how would you gentlemen like the meeting minutes handled? I know that was kind of an issue in your last meeting. Back in October of '23, the board granted, at that time, the fiscal officer to release the audio and videos immediately after the meeting. So my understanding is now there's some concern with that, so I just need direction until we get a fiscal officer, how you would like the administrator to handle your minute meetings.
If this is being entered as the minutes, I'm fine with the video going up, but the video cannot go up if that's gonna be the official minutes until we approve it.
Well, again, I need that direction, not being a fiscal officer, not responsible for the meeting minutes. I need directives from the trustees. What do you want my staff to do?
So I concur, and Mike, you chime in. If we have this as a summary, and this is what we're saying yes to, and that the copy of the video is the copy of the video, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that too, but if it is the minutes, why at the end of the meeting could we not say that we accept the video as the minutes? You can't go back and change what you said.
Oh, I understand. So the reason for, in my mind's eye, is that we have this goes on a record, it goes in a book.
Well, I'm good with that, so
Yeah.
I don't wanna waste any more time.
Right.
I'm good with that, but I'm just saying, if we're talking about the video, you know, and it was good all this time, we have got to find a way. You said it earlier in the meeting today, you're begging people to come in here. Please come,
Right.
please be a part of it. But yet we've withheld for over a week now, the last meeting, so people can see the information that took place in that meeting. We are having hundreds, anywhere from 50 to 100 views. That's a 50 or 100
Right.
people that are looking at these
Absolutely.
meetings. Those are eyes getting information. I thought that's what this was all about. Thought we want people to get the information.
Yeah.
So they can find out about the fire levy, so they can find out about their fiscal officer, they can find out what their trustees are doing and not doing.
Okay, so the only reason that I was siding with Mr. Leeser is because of what he said in some of the courses that we've taken. I did not know the law enough, and you were gonna look into it,
Yep.
that we have to have an approval of some sort of minutes. So if this cover sheet is going to work as our minutes, I'm fine. If we are using the video as our minutes, and then we're not able to vote on it unless we vote at the end, I think the video of the meeting should be just that, the video of the meeting, and no one's questioning that. We have this as our minutes, and it goes in a book forever. Someone would ask for that they was to ask for minutes of meeting such and such, and we can't produce this, we're in trouble. By producing this, then if they want to go through the video, they can. This is a summary, and that's what the state says. You have to have an understanding of an understanding of the minute, of the meeting itself and the minutes, that someone could read this and understand what took place on that date in those minutes. The rest of it can be found on the tape. So that was the only reason that when he brought that up, I'm like, you're right, I recall that. Until we get clarification, I don't want to do it wrong. There was no reason, in my mind, there was no reason that I didn't, other than that, didn't want to put that on yet.
So my
Mr.
question
I
is
wanna
then,
Ask Steve one question,
Sure.
I'm sorry.
sure,
When the new audit company came in and started their audit,
yes, sir,
this question came up,
yes,
correct?
sir.
And you said you would get an answer, and this sheet is the answer, correct? Is
That would help, yes, but the video and the audio, I told the auditor, it is what it is, that's the record. And that was validated by the auditor of state and our attorney.
If our
If that's-
attorney and the auditor is fine with the way we've been doing it, I'm fine. Mr. Leeser, you were,
There again, if it's being entered as the minutes, the official minutes of the meeting, it needs to be approved by this board.
Now, let me ask this again, I'm not the fiscal officer, and this is a discussion that the board and I are gonna have at a later date. What do you want me to do with the video and audio?
so let's do this, gentlemen. Are you
I'm
guys
good with
okay
Mike,
with?
what Mike said, at the end of the meeting, someone passes a motion to accept the video as the
There we go.
minutes. I
So we'll
mean,
put it,
it is being covered.
so we would
I'm
put that
covering
down
us.
underneath our original before adjourning, a little blurb for me to read to say that on this date, etc. This is our meeting minutes for the Board of Franklin Township. Let it be known that blah, 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 whatever Julie says we need to have in there. And I'm fine
We
with
might as well
that.
practice today.
Yeah, we could do that today, so I'll
If you
I'll
want-
do that before we
If you want it to
adjourn.
go up, and then I'm assuming we're gonna give him permission to do the last ones, if that's what we're going to do, and then it will be caught up, and then every time there's an agenda, just
very
before we
bottom.
get to trustees' comments, there could be the one that says that to approve the audio as the official minutes of the meeting. You like
Yeah,
that?
So
that-
here-
that covers
here's
that.
what
I
we
mean, I
do.
just try to put some
That-
thought into this, and that's where it came up.
So, Mr. Leeser, excuse me, Mr. Mazer, if you have one of these at the meeting, and at the very end of the meeting, we just vote on this and say
The
that.
video.
Understood. I've been using that for weeks as a
Yeah.
guideline for me, being absent of fiscal office.
And we would just sign this and stating that the video would be used.
Understand.
If we do that at the end of your presentation,
Understand.
and then we're good. Is
I
that
do,
good?
I do have a question,
Okay.
and I apologize ahead of time if this upsets anyone. We're asking the budget to be forwarded to the fiscal officer, so she has the opportunity to do that and compile a budget. Robin and I worked with the contract accountant to make sure the budget was done and done correctly, so it could get to the county auditor in time. What is the solution then, if we're gonna go to bat for the fiscal officer, to get the fiscal officer in here and at least help my staff get the meeting minutes off our plate? Because it just seems to be a constant issue with how the meeting minutes are being taken care of.
Well, I think that was taken care of today, and when she gets off, when the fiscal officer gets off medical leave. But these questions need to be asked, because we, like on the budget, whether she's on medical leave or not, she should be, I'm saying she because that's what we have right now, any fiscal officer, it doesn't matter who it is, should be copied in on all financial things to do with the township. That is their role. They're an elected official, and they are the same as us trustees.
I agree, except for I have a communication from her asking me not to contact her while she's on medical leave.
Well,
If you'd like to read it, I'm happy to turn it over.
you can send her email.
She
You're not
asked us not to.
an email, whether she reads it or not, the email is still there.
Okay.
She don't have to read it. That's not contacting her. That's not calling her.
Well,
I'm just saying, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, it doesn't matter who was
I'm
sitting
glad-
in the seat.
I'm glad you're telling me that, because I don't know that we're allowed to call off sick. I
Right.
don't think we're allowed to just not,
Yes,
be
we
around.
are. If we have medical leave, we are. Yeah. We're no different.
So Mr. Blevins has,
So I guess that's why there's three of us then, so the township's business can
continue.
continue to move forward.
Yes.
When there's just a fiscal officer, everything just drops.
Yeah, well, you got a deputy.
Well, I
So-
concur
And
with,
we use the deputy. We're using him.
I concur with what Mike was saying, and I concur with what you're saying. However, when you're asked, and there is in writing, and you are asked not to be contacted, and then you send
I
a
understand that.
doctor's, let me finish, and then you send a doctor's written statement stating the same thing, if you contact that person, it becomes, not slander, it becomes harassment. Because you've been asked not to contact. So that could take legal action against this township if we are a contactor, hypothetically. I don't know where it's gonna go. But then
Yeah.
again, you have good points on your side. But the thing is, we're spending way too much time either way. The good part is, we got the work of the people done.
Yep.
We've got a budget in, and I know, I feel comfortable in what I read. I had some questions, I got with Steve with that, and he was able to answer that. I figured you probably got it the same time I did. I saw it in the
Yep.
packet, and I took the time yesterday evening to go through that. And then I was having a problem printing out certain pages, and I guess it's on me, because I emailed Nicole to ask her, why does it say blocked, this something, it said something blocked, and it's like, no matter what I do, unless I screenshot it and then print it, I wasn't able to print it unless I download it and print every page. With that being said, I don't know where we started on this. Is there anything on the floor? Or it was your comment, sir, correct? That's what started this. I know where we are. So at this point, sir, I guess what we will do is, under your last information, if you put lines for us to sign the minutes, so we don't have to approve the minutes anymore, we're gonna approve them that day, and let it stand that the video also is part of the minutes. So in the next meeting, if you make those changes on our sheet, then we'll take care of that. So at this time, we only have a couple people. I thought Mr. Guyton would have some questions. I apologize that we went on, that he didn't. He took some good notes, I'm sure. Is there any questions from the audience? If you have a question, hearing no questions from the audience, is there any questions from the board?
Nope, I'm good.
Any questions from you?
No, sir.
Then we are adjourned at 10:51. Thank you all.
I'm on vacation.